Thursday, February 5th, 2026. 45 years ago, there was an incident that happened here at the Binghamton State Office building that wound up costing state taxpayers tens of millions of dollars. It was another brutally cold morning in February. It was February 5th, 1981. There was an electrical fire in the basement of this state office building. At first, officials thought the building might be closed for a few days, and then it was a few months and a few years, and ultimately it was almost 1.5 decades before the building reopened. The electrical fire that happened at about 5:30 on February 5th, 1981 caused PCBs to burn, and the chemicals turned into things like dioxin and dibenzofurans. And ultimately, the soot that spread throughout the building basically covered every nook and cranny of the 18-floor structure. And we're told that the estimated cost of getting this building back into operation was $53 million. The actual cost will never be known, and there still are plenty of questions about how the state handled the cleanup, remediation of the building, even questions that go back to the fire itself on that fateful morning in February 1981. A lot of questions went unanswered by New York State government, including the Office of General Services, which operates all state properties. You might remember Governor Hugh Carey, who just a few weeks after the fire in this building offered to come into Binghamton to this building and drink an entire glass of PCBs and run a mile afterward. Governor Carey never came to Binghamton to do that. His promise went unfulfilled. But his comments to reporters in Albany reflected the exasperation he felt. He was blaming state employee unions for keeping the building closed. And it's true, probably without the state employee unions and then Broome County Health Commissioner Arnold Schechter, the building probably would have reopened after a relatively short period of time, after a rudimentary cleanup. Well, it didn't happen. And this building is widely regarded as perhaps the most expensive indoor environmental disaster in the history of the United States. It happened 45 years ago, and yet very few people remember the specifics of that fire, the environmental and health issues. Hundreds of people were exposed to chemicals, including dangerous dioxin. So here we are, nearly a half century later. The questions remain. The building is back in use, and we'll just have to be content to look back on the history books as well as the scientific research that was conducted after that fire in the basement of the Binghamton State Office building on February 5th, 1981. I'm Bob Joseph, reporting from downtown Binghamton for WNBF News.